Mic check, mic check. Slakia for that Israel Shalom, Lord Christ. This is Priest on the guitar with Isupk Detroit. Madawan called and said, yeah, your music, I can't hear it. So Salakia for that. I'm going to button that up next week. I was trying to wrap up things, but it is what it is. So again, you have another Lashawan Qadash class, of course, every Friday, 7 to 9, where we teach you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians this side of the earth a little bit more of your nationality, your culture, your heritage, giving you back the language of your ancestors, the language that your forefathers spoke before they were taken into captivity, before they were trained and beat out of their heritage. As a side note, I was with my daughter the other day, and she was watching Molly of Denali. And it's about a little girl that does what she does, and I think she lives up in Alaska. And this particular episode was about this drum that her forefathers or her grandfather used to have, and she found out that I guess he used to be a good singer and drummer, and went to go ask him what happened, and he couldn't say. So her mom said, I guess he got choked up or what, blah. Belongs to, they said that I guess through colonization they were forced to hear not sing the songs of their people, speak a different language and so on. So he chose not to ever, I guess, use the drum again. But I thought it was interesting. I used that little moment to connect the dots with my little one about her actual people. So when I asked her about a Hebrew name or whatnot, it's something that's not out of her understanding because, hey, they showing it in cartoons now. All right. So anyway, we have on the board is Lashawan Qadash. I guess you can say our alphabet table. At the top, you have the ancient Hebrew, and at the bottom, you have the more modern Hebrew or the Assyrian Hebrew. So, again, you have a big ass sword right here. And right there, we start reading from right to left instead of left to right. Again, fundamentals. Ah, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, ta, za, qua, ra, sha, and tha. Remember, just because it's scripted different, notice you don't have any pronunciations down here. So we pronounce these the same. No matter if you go into the Blue Letter Bible and you see that they have vowels that you don't see on the board, words that don't translate out right, I guess, it's because it's a different script. It's a different tongue in a sense. But we keep the natural tongue or the tongue of our ancestors. So again, these are your endings. If you see these characters at the end of the word, your ka, your ma, your na, your pa, and your taza, that means it. Well, if you see those characters at the end of the word, those are the appropriate pronunciations for them. Again, don't get the ka mixed up with the da because it's at the end of the word. Don't get the ka mixed up with the ra because it's at the end of the word. Just pay attention to it. And then you have some characters. Like when I first saw this, I really didn't know what that was because it kind of looked like the hangman symbol, but it is what it is. So just that quick note. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. We're going to start off from the basics, and then we're going to get into a little bit of the Sabbath text. Definitely get through a solid verse. I think next week I'm going to try to actually start off with that, because I think I want to have it written on the board. I mean, it's cool trying to cipher it through the blue letter, but during the Sabbath service, we kind of read it in I guess it would say the ancient Hebrew. So I kind of want to have you guys be able to practice on those verses reading in the ancient Hebrew, and not the Assyrian as well. So something I might try to do for next week. Um, see if I can adjust this camera without breaking it. One sec. All right, that looked pretty good. Look decent. All right, so what you see in the board, you have three columns. You have your subject pronouns, your prepositions, and your possessive adjectives. So your subject pronouns is your I's, your you's, your he's, your she's, and your we's. This is important because when you're constructing a sentence, uh, you will commonly see these phrases, and that way, when you see them, it already gives you a highlight, or you identify readily the subject, of course. So these are a few columns or a few areas that we should try to get down pat. The next column will be the prepositions, and then the column after that is your possessive adjectives. So to say I or I am in the Hebrew, masculine or feminine, you would say anya, anya. That's the the na. Those two are connected, an, and then you have the ya. So it's anya. The you, masculine or feminine, is atha. He is hawa'a. You have your ha, your wa, and your y and your I are not connected, so you double pronounce it as I guess I'm gonna call it ha wa ah. You similarly pronounce she the same way, ha ya ah. You double pronouncing the ya and the ah. We anak noah, anak noah. And then of course you have your you, your y'all, you all. Masculine plural is a thumb. The you all. Feminine plural is a thon. And then you have the they, masculine plural, hum, and they, feminine plural, han. So your prepositions is your your I, which will be your I or your I am starting at the top. Ba is your in, sometimes on. Da, do, ha is the, wa is and, ya is he, ka is like or as or like, la is to, ma is of, sha means to pertain or pertaining to, and then you have your tha identifies as like the future tense or gives you the understanding of that word being in a future tense. Oh yeah, I did. We were supposed to go over that the past, present, and future tenses again. That'd be a dope class. And then you have your possessive adjectives. Oh, before we get to prepositions, FYI, your prepositions go before a root word. It goes before a root word. Subsequently, you have your possessive adjectives that go after your root word. The possessive adjectives go after your root word. So, shalom ka would mean your. Went over the question words that MAH, ma shalom ka, how's your peace? So from the top, you have my, which is Yah, your, which is Ka, his, Wa, her, Ha, our, Nawa. Your masculine plural is Kam, your feminine plural is Khan. Their masculine plural is Ma, and their feminine plural is Na. So one of the things as we go over these, I want to be able to start gradually putting these in different examples. So I know before we would show, I believe one time we put up like the Lord's Prayer. Oh, yeah, Lord's Prayer. In the Lord's Prayer, you will see a lot of prepositions and or possessive adjectives. So when it says Abanawa, that Nawa gives you the indication of whose father at the end. It told you that possession or that ownership. It's our father. Um, but get these wrote down. Of course, you can put the Hebrew next to it as a learning curve, or extra practice if you want to call it that. We're gonna put up next, of course, the five W's, I guess, and H, which was those question words. Go over some common time frames. We'll move into the next section. And I guess just as a point, and I'll probably have this written out on the next section, or the next time I go over this. Under your subject pronouns, one of the things that we have to realize, and I think I have an example for this um, coming up as well. So to form an adjective, to form feminine adjectives, you would add a ha at the end of a particular word or the word. To form masculine plural, it will be yum. And then to form feminine plural, it will be wath. So you know how we have the S at the end of our words to indicate something is plural. So if it was something in the masculine tense, you will put yum at the end. So you will hear us say ak yum, meaning brothers. Or for a feminine example, it will be the akwath or akwathium, akwathian. But the wath is like the S. So those are a couple things that we also going to go over. We're going to put those on the board, not today because it's already written, and I got to go on to this next section. Um, and I guess next class we'll also go over how adjectives they must agree in number and gender with the nouns they modify. They must agree in number and gender. So you can't add an adjective to modify something to make it plural and it was something that was isolated or singular. And vice similarly with gender, you know, if it was something masculine, you can't just use feminine tense and have that indicate the word and it be correct. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. So I'm gonna get this erased. Bear with me. I guess while I erase the board, I can talk some ish. I almost want to ask y'all who y'all voting for, but I don't want to catch y'all up. Who y'all voting for? Y'all voting for Koala Bear? I mean, Kamala. Who y'all voting for? See, I ain't even smile or laugh when I said that. I was trying to be funny though. So if y'all don't like my jokes, that's fine. Y'all can get over it. But honestly, just I do want to say for a minute, pay attention to the trends. Just pay attention to the trends. Um, a lot of times people they're so or they seem so caught off guard or surprised year by year every time a voting or election comes up. Every time they seem surprised or shocked, like, oh, who you gonna vote for? Oh, those Republicans, all those Democrats. Oh, you see what those liberals are doing? And it's just like, bro, they've been fighting forever. Like one was made to stop the other. Democrats was made to stop Republicans. Republicans was made to stop Democrats. I take that back. Let me stand corrected. Republicans, that party was created to stop Democrats. Um, they battled over slavery, and it wasn't a moral thing. It was a profit thing. It was a business thing. But with that being said, don't fall into the hoopla. You know, go to your spiritual advisor and ask them what has voting ever done that following Christ can't do, following the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments can't do. They want you to get used to voting for a system in which you are forced to pick evil. You're forced to pick evil. What do I mean when I say you're forced to pick evil? So I would say almost 98% of the people that you talk to, and I'm speaking for myself. I'm not talking about people that might live in um, Roseville or something like that, or Northville with a lot of money, and that's what they sit around and talk about. But a lot of us, you hear commonly about choosing the lesser of two evils. Now, why would y'all do that? And what does that apply? What does picking the lesser of two evils imply? That means you're still choosing evil. So it's not even like they're duping you, you're choosing it. And you're saying, oh, I don't have another choice. But what did the Bible tell you? Follow his law, statutes, and commandments. The Most High will be your provision. The Most High will be your shelter, your security. But y'all want to put y'all faith in Bush and Clinton and Obama and Benjamin Franklin. Just dwell on that just a little bit. Let that sit there. What they say, marinate. All right. So what do we have? The next section is the five W's and a H. Let's see if this blue marker works. I think I should slide that over. The five W's and the H. Does anybody remember what they are, who they are? I gave y'all a little bit of a hint. Those were question words. Your who, your what, your how. So you got your who, your what, or how. And if you get what is asking or how is asking, it's kind of the same understanding. So then you have your when, where, and why. So who, what, when, where, and why. So you have who is your Maya. Maya is your who. Ma is your what or your how. When is ma Thaya. Where is Aya? And why is Madawai. Madawai. Should I wipe my eyes like that? We're just gonna lowercase it. Of course, I always suggest as you write these down, say them out loud. What I used to do when I used to listen to classes, and I might be at work, and I might be at work, and I'm listening to classes, and I would hear a word, and I'm like, man, that's how you pronounce that word. And I'd be saying it out loud, repeating it, but I have my headphones on, so I just be speaking Hebrew, and people be looking at me like I'm half crazy, which is fine. They can look at me like I'm crazy. I ain't pressed about that. Next, we have common time frames. I think I'm gonna use a different color. Why? I don't know. So I would say these are probably the most commonly used time frames. So you'll probably hear these a lot today, tomorrow, and yesterday. Today, tomorrow, and yesterday. All right. So today, tomorrow, and yesterday, you have Hayawam is the word for today. Hayawam. Excuse my handwriting. Makar, Machaar, is how you would say tomorrow. Mahar. And then yesterday is Thamawal. So I kind of want to throw some verbs on the board, but I'm debating if I should throw up the verbs that we're going to go over expressly or start off the first part of the next class with that and then jump right into um I guess you would say sentence structures. I would give an example, but I do actually want to get through a whole 7 verses. So I kind of want to jump into that as soon as possible. And I think we're going to be in Genesis. So definitely bear with me. So if I was to give a few common phrases, I guess those verbs will be useful. So I think I'm gonna skip those common phrases and just probably do the common locations and then start off the next class with the common phrases. So common locations. So you have house, school, market, doctor, physician, city, town, store, house, treasury, bank. Those would kind of give you the same meaning. Inn, which is a hotel. Let me get a different color. So common locations. So you have house, and then you have school. Does anybody know how to say those 2 words? The second one is kind of like the first. So you have Bayath, and then Bayath Sapar. Market will be Irab, ma Irab. And if you said, or if you wanted to go to the doctor, or physician, I'm not going to write physician on the board because it's too long. We just going to give you the word, which is Rapa'ah. That's what you would say if you were looking or trying to figure out how to say physician or doctor. City or town would be Ayar. City or town would be Ayar. Storehouse, treasury, and bank. So I'm going to say storehouse. And I'm going to just put in, no, I'm going to just say storehouse. I'm telling y'all treasury and bank, but I ain't going to write it on the board. Store we're gonna start it off. I guess I definitely want to separate, and it is Iwat Tazar. Iwa Tazar. Awa Tazar. So that's what your storehouse or bank will be called. Awa Tazar. Your Tazar and your Ra's connected to make Tazar. And then the last is going to be in, which is your hotel, is Mal Lawan. Ma Lawan. So definitely go ahead and get those down. So you have your question words, your common time frames, and common locations. Question words being your who, what, how, when, where, why. Who is my ya? What or how is ma? When is my thaya? Where is ayah? And why is mata why? Then you have your common time frames. It's like you one sec. Hello. Hey, what's going on, Saeed? You said it. Yep, yep, yep. Okay. All right. So Dill knows she's gonna come in tomorrow and have Monday off. All right. Yeah, I'm fine with that. That's fine. All right. Bye. Slack Israel 1 second. Slave calling me. All right, Salaki, for that, so your common time frames is today, Hayawan, tomorrow, Makar, and yesterday, Thamawal. Common locations, house, Bayath, school, Bayath Sapar, market, my Arab, doctor, Rapa'ah, city or town is Ayar, storehouse, bank, that gives you that, or treasury is Iwatazar, and inn or your hotel is Malawan. All right, I'm sure you got that down. So the next section we're gonna move into, we're gonna get into the book of Genesis. It's gonna be chapter 21. Let me pull it up just to make sure. Yep, Genesis chapter 21 and 26. I'm gonna get that there. I'm gonna get it for you. And Abimelech said, I wot not who have done this thing, neither didst thou tell me, neither yet heard I of it, but to you, but today. So like you. So I'm gonna get over here. We're gonna pull it up in Blue Letter Bible. Share my screen. I guess I got to keep myself added to the stage to make sure my voice is heard. I think that was one of the problems I had the last time. All right, so what did we say? We said Genesis chapter 26, right? Oh, oh 21. Of course, if you guys actually click on tools, it pulls up it in the modern Hebrew. So again, this is the reason why I'm not going to say we have to, but it is a good thing to know to read the modern Hebrews because that's what most of the script is in now. And of course, some of the ancient text that was translated by some of our forefathers was translated in the script, so it's not going to hurt. It just makes you more well rounded. And of course, if you go word by word, so if you see up here how I'm hovering over the word, you can actually see a little text box pop up and it says transliteration. Uh, and you see how it says VA. I think that's YYOMER. That's their way of saying Waya Amar. And of course, you see, let me see if I can scroll down and it all gets it in the same frame. So you see how when I'm hovering over, the yellow comes up, and then right below where it says English, strong, root infected, inflected, you have two columns that are highlighted, and said. So initially, that's a feature that helps you readily identify what on the screen you're translating. And when you click on it, an extra tool pops up and it separates. It lets you know, boom, it's a conjunction. It's one of those prepositions. That y is and then that ya is he. And then that root word is a verb, masculine. It lets you know. Which means said. So, and he said, who are they talking about? Abimelech. So that's a name. I guess it's no need to try to break that down. It's just Abimelech is his name. His name does mean something, but that's not the point of this class. La'ah, which means not or no. I won't. Of course, you can click on that. I mean, it comes from the root word that Strong's H3045. And that is Ya Da I. Ya die. And you see down here, they pronounce it Yada. But that's the Ya, the Da, and the I. a second. The next word. Oh, and that word that yadai means to know, like to know something. Then you have who. We just went over that. That's maya. You have your ma and your ya. Maya. So it says hath done is Aisha. You have your I, your Sha, and your Ha, Aisha. The Ha Asha. The Ha is a preposition, which means the. Now, one of the things you would notice, and oh, oh I'm working it out. All right. One of the things you'll notice I clicked on this word. You have your ah and your a tha, and thing came up for the bar. So there's a preposition before, which would actually be here, that had the bar, which is like what was spoken or what was said, the speech. So that preposition has the bar is or means to speak. And then you have za, you have your za and your ha, za, haza, which is this. So sometimes when you're just, I guess, translating directly, you might see it like jump around, but the understanding is still fluent. That's why you would like read the scripture and it's wrote out straight, and then sometimes you would do the transliteration and just going word for word, and it kind of jumps around. I guess that's what I was trying to highlight. I'll figure out a better way to say it, or I'll write up an example of that next time. Let's go find it. So then you have gum, gumma, gum, which means also. And the next word is a tha. He said a ta or 8. After that, nagad, which means to tell. And of course, you have a preposition right before it. And then you have anak ya, anak ya, which means I or myself. Oh, we missed a word. Laya Salakia means to me. And this is I or myself. La'a, which is that no or negative. So here is used as neither. So Shemai means to hear. So you have the root word is Shemai, and then you have Thaya. But, and that is Ba La Thaya. Baya, I mean Salakia, by La Thaya. Salakia. But, and then Hayawam, you have your ha, your preposition, which is like your to, and then your warm is day, so it gives you that understanding of today. Did I get through that? I don't know. So going to the top, I'm gonna pull it in the ancient Hebrew as well. So this is Genesis chapter 21 and starting at 26. Waya Amar, and that's Abimelech. So I guess I should start learning how to pronounce names really well, but that is Abba Yamalak. Abba Yamalak. La'ah Yadai Thaya Maya Aisha Ath Hadabar Hazaha Wagum Atha La'ah Hagadath Laya Wagam Ana Kaya La'ah Shemaya Shemai Thaya Bala Thaya Hayawam. Yeesh. I think I did pretty good there. Nah, I'm probably doing this one, going over one more verse. I was probably going to be now, probably like 8:30. Come on, look. Let me tell you after. Song, okay. All right, so we're gonna hit this next one. All right, so yeah, I jumped the whole book. So that's how you learn things. You know, you click a button and it takes you somewhere. All right, so and then you get lost. Oh, so that double book arrow allows you to jump books. It's okay to learn together. Nothing wrong with learning together. All right, we was at 26. All right, so now you have 27. So you have Wayakwaka, Abraham, that's Abraham. Oh, and took. So you have that Y, of course, as a preposition. The root word is to take. Taza'an, you have your ta, taza, your ah, and your na. Notice the na is at its ending form. So that's not a Y. You know it's not a Y only because it's a little bit longer. But that's very similar to what your Y looks like. And oxen. So you have your pronoun again. And then you have your ba, your qua, and your ra. So wabaquar Wayathan. That's your Wayathan. Nathan is your root word to give. Wa, of course, is your preposition again, which means and. Unto Abimelech, you have your Wa, which is and. Made, you have your Ka, your Ra, and your Tha. Waya Korath, Korath Ya, Korath Wa, Salahia, Waya Korath Wa, Waya Korath Wa, both them, Shanya Hum, Shanya Hum, which means both of them. And the last word is Barayath, Barayath, which means a covenant. So from the top, you have Waya Kwaka, Abraham, Tazaan, Waba Korah, Wayathan, La'a, Baya, Malak, which is Abimelech. And then you have Waya Karathwa, Shenya, Shenyahum, and Barayath. I think I got through that pretty decent. Pretty decent. So that button changes the chapter. Oh, that's why, because I was still in the chapter and the box puts up. So yeah, you just got to pay attention to the screen. And then we're at 28. So I'm going to just read two more in the Hebrew. And for time's sake, I'm not going to go into them too much. But you have Waya Tazabah, Abraham, Ath, Shabai, Kabash Shayath, Kabah Shath, Hatazaan, Laba Dahan. So you have your Wayat Tazab, Abraham, Ath, Shabai, Kabah, Shath, Ha Tazaan, and Labah Dahan. All right, verse 29, you have Waya Amar, Abayam Laka, Ilah, Abraham, Ma, Hana, Shabai, Kabah, Shath, Ha'ala'ah, Ishar, Ha-Tazabath, Labah, Dana. Get that right. La. All right, and what you had there was, and Abimelech said unto Abraham, what mean these 7 ewe lambs thou hast set by themselves? All right, so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Remember, next week, we're going to go over a couple phrases. So now that we had the 5 W's, the common tense phrases, and the common locations, we're going to try to form a few sentences, or at least put up a few examples, and then we'll give you a lot of commonly used verbs, or more commonly used verbs, that a lot of the times you can just interchange those verbs out and have complete sentences. And then in doing so, of course, the repetition of it will help you definitely, get the speech and readily identifying those words. So while you're reading them, you be able to read them more fluently. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and close out. Men of Israel, Amajim, Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahba Shem Yahshua Barakatha.